this, because you remembered a lot of things which along the way you may forget, and that's why Kaushik was very instrumental, because he followed my career right from under 16 days, and he knew a lot about my life, my career, and it was great to sort of revisit all the lovely moments I had in my career.
I'm amazed.
And I asked Kaushik, are you available now? He told, yeah, straight away. Feel free to call. So I think Kaushik has been very accommodative. That's why it's been a very remarkable and a pleasant journey. It's been a remarkable journey because Kaushik made it a pleasant journey for me.
To do some things that are incredible, and we try our best as fans to try and understand your mentality. So understanding the mentality of an international player, I like to call upon Rahul Dravid to join us. If we can get his chair also for Rahul, because what I need to say about Rahul Dravid here, he is son of the soil.
Mohiuddin Zaki was the captain of under 16 Hyderabad, and both of us performed well. And HCA, to encourage us, they told the same year, I think both of you, the amount of runs you scored at the under 16 level and the kind of runs you scored, the way you scored, I think we will promote you and make you play under 19. I think was the vice captain. So that was the first time I saw Rahul in action. I still remember he was wearing a shirt while batting. It was gifted by Roger Binny. Later on I came to know it was gifted by Roger because it was a shirt. It was not a t-shirt, it was a shirt. I don't know whether Rahul remembers that or not. It was a shirt with the logo of the BCCI. And as usual, Rahul loves scoring 100. I just cannot forget the body language he showed. The concentration, the focus, and the ability to play long innings. That was the first time I saw Rahul, and never ever changed till the last day he played his game. But that dedication, that focus was clearly visible in his body language. And surprisingly, I don't know whether Rahul remembers, he was at short leg.
Yeah, I mean, I've just to digress from Lakshman a little bit, I do remember that shirt that Roger gave me. I think it was one of those shirts that I think Roger had got when he was, I think, touring England. And it was a shirt. I mean, they used to use shirts in those days, and it was a shirt which was really thick. And it was one of those ones we use in the winter in England. It was, I think, meant for the winter in England. But because it was given to me by Roger Binny, and it was like, it must have been 30 degrees centigrade, but I would still wear that shirt to bat just because it was given to me by Roger Binny. So yeah, I do remember that shirt, and I do remember Lakshman. I mean, I think the thing with Lakshman already had a reputation when he first played against us. He was this kid, like he said, who from Hyderabad, and word spreads around in junior cricket. I mean, there's always a talk, there's always a chatter, and who's doing well in Tamil Nadu, who's doing well in Hyderabad. These were the two big states in those days, and you'd constantly be having conversations. And Lakshman had already had a reputation when he came to play that under-19 game against us, and I do remember the game that here was this really special young kid from Hyderabad who's scoring tons and tons of runs in under-16. That I've done when Lakshman has batted. I mean, he made us feel for what, 200, he's made like a triple hundred against us, he's made a double hundred against us. I might have made hundreds, Lakshman's got double hundreds, triple hundreds against Karnataka. So we've done a lot of fielding for him, and I think the joy and the pleasure is obviously being able to bat with him. Then like he said, to play first South Zone cricket with him and have a lot of success at that level, batting in partnerships with him. To continue those in terms of the context and the consequence that the innings was played in. And I had the best seat in the house for the best part of it, and it was absolutely phenomenal to watch. And I sometimes I don't like watching a lot of cricket, to be honest, and we don't. In fact, I really hate watching myself bat again. When sometimes they show these old matches and the game is going on, and if I'm playing, I actually change the channel or I switch off the channel. But we have a table, the 281, and there was or being able to flick a ball on the middle and off stump on a turning track in Calcutta, across the line of a great bowler like Shane Warne and hitting him, through square leg, or driving Glenn McGrath or Jason Gillespie, and the way that he did it. I think, for me, it was an incredible experience just watching him bat. And we switched roles in the second innings. And so by the time I actually went to bat with Lakshman, he was already batting on 90 odd. I think he was 90 odd, and I think we ran that single to short fine leg, I think it was, and he got 100. And he was already 100 when I wasn't particularly playing that well in that series to start off with, and just watching him play gave me a lot of confidence, and it gave me a lot of belief to just watch him, the way he was playing, the way he went about it, and it was
there's that famous picture, right? Right after you both come onto bat and you're sitting on those famous white chairs, those wicker chairs, Eden Garden, and both of you just, I mean, you look like you do now, but isn't it incredible? Because all of us know the context, but if you don't, having the follow-on is enforced, you're playing the best side in the world. These guys know how to intimidate.
We'll meet after one more over. So, and then as it turned out, we batted for 1 hour, one session, and then the whole day. But not once did we feel that we were complacent. You know, while as Rahul mentioned that I already am required. You know, and I think this was there even at domestic level when we used to play together for South Zone. I still remember just a month before the Kolkata Test match, both of us had a partnership against West Zone in Surat, where I got a double 100, again Rahul got a 100. We had a big partnership. So I think you were batting with Rahul. So I think we were very focused on achieving the target we had set out for the team, which was to bat on and on and on, not being satisfied with.
I haven't really read the book as yet. I've been in New Zealand, and the book's come home, so I'm sort of going to read it. My younger son's actually read the book, so he's told me it's a very good book, so I have to read it. But the thing with Lakshman was when he had so many of these, routines. Like so you tap the gloves. I had to talk to Lakshman, and he's there busy marking lines. Now, how many lines was it? How many lines? I used to always pull his leg about it. How many?
I've
6
actually
lines
surprised because I thought when Rahul is batting, he's in a zone. He doesn't observe anything else.
When he takes, at one time, after a point of time, and I think that was a real pleasure and privilege of playing with, Lakshman and some of the guys that I batted with. You didn't, because you played with them for so many years, sometimes you just knew their game so well and you knew their personality so well, you didn't necessarily, it's, for want of a better word, it's like a relationship sometimes. You're not saying too much.
But I'm guessing the conversations in the slip garden were a whole lot more active.
Yeah, a lot more active about what did you do. Had a huge influence. And before John, if I don't know whether Rahul agrees or not, Bob Simpson had a big influence. This was in 1998. We were in New Zealand, and Bob Simpson was the consultant before the 1999 World Cup. And I still remember both of us loved taking a lot of catches. And Bob Simpson was 5 or 6, and then the 7th one he would draw. The way he used to make the ball, the way the place where he used to hit the ball. I think since then, and Bob Simpson taught us the technique or the stance, how to distribute your weight so that you can go on either side, up and down. And we took a lot of pride in taking those catches. We had great bowlers like Sri Anil. It was very important to take that opportunity. So I think we also took a lot of pride in the number of catches we took. Rahul obviously is holding the record of the most number of catches in Test match cricket, and it's purely because of his focus and his ability to switch off and switch on, and that was so important for both of us. So whenever the bowler finished delivering the ball,
obviously always trying to get me there, especially so close to the batsman. He's saying closer and closer. And I'm trying to get further and further away. And he's like, on my side. So I had that added motivation of wanting to be on the field was actually to hold a catch, and I think that gave me a lot of satisfaction to be able to hold the catches. And like we were just sort of we had of what I became as a player, as a slip fielder, even as a batsman. To have someone like him in the team, his ability, his talent, challenging you, pushing you, looking at his work ethic, seeing the way he was disciplined about things.
They've inspired a lot of cricketers, a lot of people, not only from cricketing fraternity, but they've been so modest. They've been so modest, because it's other way around, because preparation was very important, which I write in the book a lot. He's session, then does a slip session, and then he goes back. And then he says that I wanted to get out of the competition I had, or the players of my level in Hyderabad. I wanted to look at the players who were the next superstars. Inspired by the work ethics Rahul showed in his career, the discipline he showed in his career.
Look, I'm not trying to be humble for the sake of it, and I did work hard. I don't get that wrong. I did work very hard at what I did, and I really put in the hours. But the beauty of sometimes being a celebrity and being famous is legends get created about you, which are way off the mark. I never came at 9:30 and left at 4:30. I might have come at 9:30 and left at 1:30, or I might have come at 1 o'clock and left at 5.
Is there a biometric at NCA?
No,
We have to get that.
I've heard some really incredible stories about what I did, and it's sometimes way off the mark. But But like I say, I did work hard. I mean, and I think there's no substitute for that. I mean, in the sense that just one, or you want to have the kind of career Lakshman has had, it doesn't come, without a certain level of sacrifice by yourself, by your family, which is what he sort of mentioned earlier, and he mentions in his book. It's not a normal life. I mean, you can't. It's just impossible to do it.
It's something that both of you are heavily involved in right now. So, I mean, do you switch notes? There have been certain challenges that both of you have faced as mentors and coaches. So,
Well, I think what he has done, to create that bench strength for Indian team. I think the Indian cricket team is
in the Mount Mackinac, which is about 10-15 minutes away. And Kane came to our hotel, and he came to meet some of us, and and sort of everyone sort of was on breakfast time. And everyone walked in and came to say hello to Kane Williamson. Half the team was SRH, and he's like looking up, says half my team. I mean, so half the India A teams from SRH at the moment. So obviously Lakshman and his group there are doing a really good job. So yeah, and I think there's so much of knowledge that exists with some of these great players and these great legends of the game that we have. And what is really interesting and fascinating for me is that
I think firstly it boils down to getting used to the conditions. And as quickly as you can acclimatize to the conditions, adapt to the conditions, and based on that devise your game plan and make those subtle technical adjustments which will allow you to perform well in those conditions. I think that's very, very important. And I've always maintained that to win a test series, the batting group or the batting department. To win series, especially overseas series, you have to have contribution from at least 6 or 8 players in the squad of 15. Because even though Srinath likes to call them the labor class, the reality is they do win you matches, and they are the most important people in winning test matches, because you need 20 wickets to win test matches. So we've got a really good bowling attack. I mean, you were not in the Delhi test match. You were not even in the team, no? The Delhi test match. Yeah, in that against Australia. Yeah, so I think you were in the squad. Then you played the next game in Ahmedabad. Yeah, so.
thank you, gentlemen. So let's talk about their debut test match. You didn't, at that stage, you never had, you knew that Lakshman was going to make his debut and Ahmedabad. You never had any sort of things where these new players, like they do now, they have to make those speeches or stand in a chair and do any of this. There's nothing. And I started talking. Stand on this chair and give you a speech. Show some respect, man. And that was from Javagal Srinath. He will tell that I never told that, but I missed the university. I went to the college only to play matches for the college. So I didn't, do the things which normal college students do. And I hear, especially from my friend Parth, my childhood friend is here, that when you go to a college, a degree college, there's a lot of ragging.
Interaction with Lakshman was in England. We were touring England in 1996, and Lakshman has a story to say which is not true. And if it is in this book, I'm going to sue him actually. He hold on to this story of, he has some grounds against me and Venki for a long time, which is not true. I haven't read the book.
I didn't write that story in England. And the Indian team were playing in Nottingham, so I go to the Nottingham hotel. I meet some of the seniors there, bump into Anil, Rahul, I meet everyone. And then I wanted to meet Venkatesh Prasad and Javagal Srinath, who were sharing the room. Both fast bowlers, both must be exhausted after a tiring day. And knock on the door, no answer.
He's going to make it big one day, and all of it. So it was a question of time before he played for India. My first test match experience with him at Ahmedabad. He didn't score many in the first innings, but on a tough wicket, he grinded. He got out in the first innings. He was very much into the shell, and as usual, Lakshman's speech didn't last even for a minute and a half. That's how little he spoke those days. Abhi to lamba lamba chod raha hai, aadha ghanta. It didn't even last for a minute and a half, but but I think we could see Lakshman's class.
Because he was express and he was reverse swinging the ball big time. And the South African batsman just had no clue where the ball was coming, and that 6-wicket spell from Sri won us the game. But I think it was a memorable match for me because on debut, tough, challenging conditions.
Rahul is in his own world. He's still standing in the leg slip now. And he goes back to his mark and then says, jam. I used to love it. That used to be one of the things. So if I misfielded something.
So you know who the brand manager was.
But he was the best at forward short leg.
Same pair of hands then.
Yeah, both of them.
And I think that's the, it's so good to hear these stories because you've shared not only like Lakshman, you were saying special memories, but so you shared a room with Anil Kumble in Delhi in that special test match. So tell me about
That will be silent. That room will probably would have spoken only 1 MB of that of the whole day.
I keep talking about it, National.
And I took that catch, and it was such a memorable day for Indian cricket. And again, no one could do that, because with a broken jaw to come and bowl and to endure that pain, it was such an inspirational stuff from Anil, and we were all speechless. We were all, we didn't know what was happening, and in fact, all of us were thinking.
I think, coming back to that again, it's not about me, it's about Lakshman today, and probably it was a good variation to get Brian Lara out. I don't think he was focusing on the ball. He was probably too scared looking at my face, and that was one way of outfoxing Brian Lara. But Lakshman got 100 in that test match. My job was to protect Ajay Ratra. I did protect Ajay Ratra. He got 100 going. So it was John Wright who said, he has done. He always batted with the lower order. I don't want to call it tail. So he always batted with the lower order, and he made significant contributions. Going back to the 281, that when Rahul was talking about their partnership, I did not participate in that series because I had a shoulder surgery. I was in South Africa for my rehab, and I was watching the game while I was at the physiotherapist. Evan Speechley, who became an Indian physio and now RCB physio, was there, and we were watching. We were watching the first innings. We folded up. Lakshman was not out. He went back, and then again came in immediately, batting at number 3. So Evan, we had lost the first test match, and Evan looked up. You would always hope and think that that would again come back, and I think it happened many times. So I was fortunate to watch the Adelaide test match when they scored 300, and I also probably had a gut feel that we are going to go and win this test match at that point in time.
I think today Lakshman gets an opportunity as the mentor of Sunrisers and working with some fantastic fast bowlers. And today all you hear about India is that
Because of Sri, and then later because of Anil. I still remember 1997 we landed in Jamaica for the test series. Sri was struggling with his rotator cuff, and he was in a dilemma. We went for practice session before playing Jamaica in the first warm-up game. So Sri didn't know what to do. I still can remember that vividly. Sri was a dilemma, shall he continue to play or shall he go for his operation? And we didn't have a good setup at the time. We had Ali Rani, who was a physio. I'm not sure, I didn't work too much with him, but I'm not sure how good he was. And then Sri ultimately decided that he had to go for a surgery. And I feel Sri went to South Africa for the surgery, and then he also went to Rosebank, for the most amazing thing I've watched on a cricket field was Anil with a broken jaw come and bowl and get the wicket of Brian Lara. But it's not about the wicket, but coming and bowling with that pain and that fracture. The second thing was how Sri, before that Kapil Paji and all the great bowlers of our country were able to go out and take so many wickets, were able to, as fast bowlers, win so many matches. Yeah, so we used to go to Pizza Hut and have pizza, after a day's workout, because we never used to get other, in places like New Zealand, we used to struggle to get proper vegetarian food. And then come back next day, there was no ice bath, there was no hot and cold shower. I don't know, I think you have to ask Sri how he used to recover to get back and be fresh the next day. Things I have seen and I appreciate in my cricketing career. And the third thing was all the legends of the game, because I told that from 1996 onwards, cricket in India became, it probably got the best out of them. So these three things were the most amazing things I have since the time I have followed the game, and I couldn't ever I wouldn't ever forget, you know, these three things. Anil with a broken jaw, Sri and other fast bowlers, the workload they had without professional setup, and all the legends of the game without any opportunity, limelight.
Side now, if you have a retrospective view, then I think we can say that we lacked a lot of facilities. We didn't feel that then, honestly. I think we just played with what we had. You know, only when I went to the Rosebank Clinic for my shoulder operation, I think the realization dawned that we are way far behind in terms of training, in terms of physiotherapy and rehabilitation, and the very meaning of physiotherapy. I think then
He started the trend.
Just to go back to Lakshman's story a
the speech, all he spoke about his uncle. Sir, did you also teach him how to score runs without proper footwork? इधर नहीं है uncle. Wherever he is, I think he should listen to this. थोड़ा wrong number हो गया, कोई बात नहीं. So the point is, then you speak so much about your uncle, why didn't you bring him here? I see Parth here. You know, the way, anyway, back to the serious note, I think the way he anchored around few things, Lakshman, I think people should know which would
This question.
I'll ask Anil this question. Was in the pursuit of vegetarian food, especially in the West Indies, where I swear to you, chicken is
West Indies would be a challenge, and then two bowlers would be to pull out a victory to give satisfaction to the people, because I think it was not just the team that believed that we could win. It was also the people and the fans, numerous fans, who believed that this team could go on and beat Australia. So it was just, I think all of
and these four gentlemen who shared. Gentlemen, if I could request you to unwrap the book, VVS Lakshman's 281 and Beyond. Gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing these memories with us. Could we also request the very special people in Lakshman's life to join us? His parents, who I'm sure take so much pride in all those years ago when they allowed him cricket. His parents who join us on stage. His lovely wife, his children. If I could request Lakshman's family and of course Lakshman's cousin Naren is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this very special evening. I thank Lakshman, his family as well.
Again, I would like to take this opportunity to first thank Rahul, Anil, Sri for coming here and sharing some of the memorable moments from my career. Also to all the legends of Karnataka and Indian cricket. Thank you very much for taking out time and coming here and blessing me and blessing the book. To all my family, friends and well-wishers, really deeply appreciate all of you coming here. Please come and join for dinner. Really appreciate all of you coming here and sharing and blessing this book, and like the way you have blessed me throughout my career. Thank you very much. Thank you.
gentlemen. Welcome to this lovely, anticipated evening. For me, as the publisher of this book, it's an evening that's also tinged with some nostalgia. I know nostalgia is probably going to be a tone of the evening anyway, because so many of us have watched the players we are going to watch now talking, and that's always going to have some nostalgia. But for us, it's also because we've spent the last month celebrating the publication of this book in various ways. VVS has worked really hard to talk to all the people who wanted to talk to him about the book and the writing and all of it. And it's been a year, I think, of also working on the book to get it to this point. There's so many reasons that the book is special that I won't go into them. You're going to hear a lot about it, and hopefully you're going to read it as well. But a couple of things that I must say were surprising along the way. And one of them is the kind of deep interest that Lakshman has taken in the writing of this book. I mean to say, one works with people who have had enormously successful lives, who've then gone on to write books about those lives. But usually, there's someone else who's intensely involved in that writing, and the person themselves is a little bit absent in the process. But here, the question that I got to hear a lot from VVS was, have you edited it enough? Don't you need to do more? Are you going to edit it again? Because it has to be perfect. Am I saying the right things? Are the words right? And is it reading right? There was so much involvement in the process of writing and editing that I did get very pleasantly taken by surprise. And we've all enjoyed that process of bringing this book to you. From designing the cover, from the cover shoot in Hyderabad, where he was extraordinarily kind, and just before we left for the airport, he said, no, you have to wait, I'll send my driver, he's bringing chai and Osmania biscuits from Paradise, so you have to eat that before you go. It's been lovely. So this is also our opportunity, VVS, to say thank you to you, because I know after this, you're going to get taken over by your life away from the book. But it has been, this is the one thing I've avoided using in all these days, but it has been very, very special. And thank you for that. I am also delighted that we're doing this event here with so many special people who've played with Lakshman, who've known him all his life, I suppose, more or less, who are going to be talking to us about this, about the book, and about their own lives together. So I'm going to hand over to Mayanti. Mayanti Nagla is somewhere there. Yes, you are. I said to her, how do I introduce you? And she said, I don't know, to say my name, that's all that matters, I suppose it's enough. But there's one little bond we share, which is that we also publish her brother's work. And we're delighted that his sister is here today doing this for us. Thank you, Mayanti. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Lovely introduction. You said, very, very special. Ladies and gentlemen, get used to those 3 words because this evening is all about that. I want to stand up in here and say what a privilege it has been for me in these past 3 years that VVS Lakshman has been my ally when it comes to live television, because live television is like a beast of its own. But when you've done the kind of things that you've done in your career, for VVS Lakshman, television is as easy as scoring runs against Australia. He makes it look so good that really thank you for being my ally and for sharing that studio with us. So Lakshman, if I could request you to join us on stage, and we'll get this very, very special evening started. Just got to have that on. You know, the first thing that, first and foremost, congratulations, Lakshman, because this is the last one that you're doing, last city, so it's been quite a whirlwind experience for you in terms of your tour, but congratulations for doing this. And it's a beautiful cover. I'll get him to tell you the story of the cover a little bit later on, but 281, I think all of us sitting here today can agree that 281 is more than just a number, isn't it?
Yeah, I think even before answering that, Mayanti, I think I have to thank each one of my well-wishers who are present here and who've been there in the previous 4 events. It was definitely not painstaking. It was something which I feel grateful and which I mentioned even in Kolkata, is the whole idea of having these events in 5 places is not only about talking about the book, but sharing the book with the people who are involved in this journey. And also sharing the book in front of people who inspired me. I mean, how privileged I am where today I've got Erapalli Prasanna sir, who was a role model and inspiration, who has got so much of laurels to Indian cricket. We have Vishy Bhai, again, one of my role models while growing up. I mean, no one can emulate him the way he used to play those wristy strokes on the offside, on the onside, balls from the offside, lands up on the onside, against the fiery fast bowlers on wickets which were more challenging than probably what you're seeing in current day cricket. Then you got Roger Binny, World Cup winner, and someone who's been part of the 1983 World Cup, because that was the turning point in my life, because after India won and after Kapil Paji lifted the World Cup, I got inspired that one day I hope and I pray that I also can do something for this great country, playing this great game of cricket. So in front of them and other stalwarts who have contributed not only to India but also Karnataka. So I thank each one of you, all my well-wishers, family, friends for coming, taking out time, and also to Kartika and Gautam and everyone from West End for being so cooperative and understanding. And as Kartika rightly mentioned, that a lot of work has been gone into creating this book, because in such a small, Kartika feels that it's too big a book, but for me, it's such a small book in which a journey right from my childhood to 16 years of international cricket has to be consolidated and communicated to the entire cricketing fans. So thank you very much, Kartika, the hard work you have put in. I know I've pestered you a lot with editing, but thank you for being very accommodative. While my good friend Kaushik, he's from Bangalore, he's not here today because he's in a place where probably we all enjoy being there. Australia, he's covering the India-Australia series. Kaushik has been so accommodative, so flexible, and when I asked him, I requested him to write this book, straight away he told yes. So my wife told once, yes, then I requested her whether she could marry me, and next would be Kaushik, who said yes. And because this is a dream come true for me, right from my playing days, I always wanted to communicate my journey with my well-wishers, my fans, and Kaushik made it possible and wrote in such a manner that I was very delighted in the end with the way the book has come out, and that's so important. So thank you, each one of you, for coming here, and also to my special friends. I'm sure you'll be hearing from them, Anil, Sri, Rahul, who have been part of this wonderful journey, and in all the other 4 cities, all the people who were instrumental in me achieving my goal, achieving my dream, right from my parents to my uncle who was my mentor, still continues to be my guide, philosopher, to all the seniors who have encouraged me to play the game of cricket in Hyderabad, and then all the teammates with whom I spent some of the most memorable time of my career and life. So I'm very, very grateful. So thank you very much once again. Now coming to 281, I think 281 is a very, very satisfying number. A lot of people feel that should be your unlucky number because I got out on 281. But it's not the number, but I think the magnitude of the test match, that innings along with the great Rahul, which allowed us to bounce back from a tough situation to go on to win that test match, go on to win that test series against the most formidable opposition I have played against. And the title itself shows that while a lot of people relate me to 281, a lot of people relate me to the performance in Kolkata, but my life has been a lot more than just the Kolkata test match. And that's why we got this title as 281 and beyond. Now beyond is after 281, whatever I've experienced in my career, and also before 281, which I actually enjoy that part of the book, is my childhood, how tough it was for me and for my parents, for my uncle, to allow me to play this game when I had the opportunity of becoming a doctor. So my childhood days is something which is very memorable as far as this book is concerned.
I remember chatting with Lakshman about this in between one of our stints, and I asked him, I said, Lakshman, what will be
controversial about this book, but that's not the right word. I think the right word I was looking for was what would be conversational. Because what do you want people to take away from this?
Yeah, I think the word controversy doesn't sound good with EVS Lakshman, except that, you know, the day I retired, I announced my retirement, controversy surrounded me. For the first time after I quit playing the game of cricket. You know, so I was surprised, but more than me, my parents were taken aback. You know, and because they're not used to something, and suddenly it happens on the day when their son retires from the game after 16 years, they were taken aback why this controversy was created. Well, anyway, controversies are created by people who love controversies, but not me. But you know, what can people take away from this book? You know, in fact, I've been telling this. Whoever asked this question. In fact, how I got to write is my uncle always wanted me to communicate my journey with the people who follow the game, who follow Indian cricketers, who follow Indian team. And when I announced my retirement, I also announced that there was a question during the press conference that, will you come out with your autobiography? And I told, yes, I will come out with my autobiography. But because of the amount of time I spent away from family, immediately after retirement, I wanted to spend time with family, and then I got busy with my other cricketing commitments. Somehow I lost a track, or I lost the idea of writing this book. While after my retirement, I give a lot of corporate talks, go out and give motivational talks. 2 years back, you know, it was for an MNC in Goa. I had a 45-minute talk, and an elderly person after the talk comes to me and says, son, whatever you've spoken for 45 minutes has been very meaningful and very inspiring. And I can say, son, this is not only inspiring me, but it will inspire my son and my grandson. And then I was taken aback, and he told, you should actually think about writing a book, because through your story, I'm sure a lot of people can learn something and practice that in their lives. And when I thought about it, my journey has been a remarkable journey, but a journey with a lot of highs, a lot of lows. And through this book, it's almost communicating to a youngster how he can realize his dream. Because playing cricket for me was the wildest dream. As a kid, as I told just now, 1983, when Kapil Paji picked up the Prudential World Cup, I also dreamt that one day I should play cricket for India. But that was the wildest dream. I was just playing in my neighborhood. I was not even in the school team. This was 1983. But I thought one day I should play for the country. You know, I should also get laurels to the country in the game of cricket. Then, simultaneously, while I was very good at academics, simultaneously my cricketing career also was progressing. By the time I finished my 10th, I was playing under 15 Hyderabad South Zone. I got first in state in science, 98 out of 100. Then I enrolled myself in BIPC in my 11th and 12th, got a lot of opportunities. By the time I finished my 12th, I was on verge of playing for Hyderabad, Ranji Trophy, at 17 years, which is a remarkable achievement, keeping in mind the competition we had, the players we had in Hyderabad. And then the tough decision, which every parent and every kid in our country goes through, has to take at the age of 17, what is the career option one has to decide. And it's so unfair. At the age of 17, you have to decide what is your career path. While I had a career path which is a poor career path, almost enrolled myself in a medical college. But there was also a dream, one day I can play for country. And that dream was not so much convincing for me, but it was more convincing for my uncle, who spotted the talent in me. And he was the one who had more belief in my abilities than I had. But I wanted to play the game because I loved playing the game. And that's when my parents gave me that opportunity, of course influenced by my uncle. But they told that I'll give you 5 years, and in 5 years you go and do the best you can, become the cricketer the best you can be, so that you realize your dream. But one thing for sure is, in these 5 years, all your energies, all your focus should be only on the sport. How many parents will give that opportunity? This I'm talking in 1990s, early 1990s. Now every parent wants their kid to play cricket. I mean, that's the power of the game at the moment, how healthy the game is. Everyone wants it to be taken as a profession, but it was an amateur sport. So my parents giving that opportunity. So through this book, it also is giving an example, an option to a parent. It's important for you to identify the unique talent in your kid. And if you encourage that unique talent, sky is the limit. Nothing is impossible. In my life, from the family background I came from, no one would have dreamt, including myself, that I'd play for India one day. but it happened. And I played more than 100 test matches. So that's something for a youngster, that's something for a parent. And then the entire journey from 17 to 22, what I did to achieve my dream. You know, how focused I was, how did I handle success and failures. So it's almost for a youngster is if you have something in your mind, if you're committed to that, and if you're passionate about that, then you can achieve that dream. So it's for a youngster as well. And then to a cricket player, a cricket fan, to know about what goes through a mind of an international player, what goes through in a team like India where you've got a lot of talented cricketers, but what are the expectations the public has, what are the expectations cricket-loving people in India have, what are the ups and downs, the successes and failures which the team goes through, how do they bounce back from those situations. So the entire journey, which I mentioned as journey to number one, is about my journey with the Indian team, with some of the stalwarts of the game. You know, so I think, and also the importance of my wife, Sailaja, I write an entire chapter about that, how tough it is for a spouse to sacrifice her personal aspirations so that her husband can pursue his passion, can dedicate to the game he loves so much. What are the sacrifices kids have to go through, where father is always traveling. So it's almost for a spouse, you know, what goes through, what are the sacrifices required for a spouse to make so that her or his loved one can achieve their goal. So I think it's been a remarkable journey for me. In fact, it was a very emotional journey for me when the entire 1.5 years it took to write this. Because you remembered a lot of things which along the way you may forget. You know, and that's why Kaushik was very instrumental, because he followed my career right from under 16 days. And he knew a lot about my life, my career. And it was great to sort of revisit all the lovely moments I had in my career.
I'm amazed you managed to do this, because we used to keep you in our studios for like some 9-10 hours a day. So what did you like write between commentary scenes or mentored us team as well? So how did you do
You know how tough it is. You know, when I think Anil is realizing now how tough it is. When he does that commentary, you know, it's tough. You know, you're exhausted, you're mentally exhausted. So that's why Kaushik has been very accommodative, because there were times when at about 11:30 I finish work, go back to the hotel room and ask Kaushik, Kaush, are you available now? He told me, yeah, straight away. Feel free to call. You know, so I think Kaushik has been very accommodative. That's why it's been a very remarkable and a pleasant journey. It's been a remarkable journey because Kaushik made it a pleasant journey.